Hari Om, my love and blessings to you, all of you, my lovely beings of light. I always share whatever little bit I can whenever it is possible because sharing is caring. Yes, you got it right. Today's topic is sharing is caring. It can be put the other way around also. Caring is sharing is caring. Now, whatever little bit we have, whatever God has bestowed on us, we should practice to share it. So, by the word, this is a virtue. When we share what we have, that shows that we care for that person. If we don't care, then how are we going to share anything? So, sharing is the highest self-sacrifice, according to me. Because when we share our time, wisdom, knowledge, share our love, share whatever we have, so that's something that you have, you give it to someone else. And you are not aware, neither are you expecting returns back. So that is sharing. Returns come to you in many folds. That's a blessing by God. The universe responds back by giving you abundantly what you gave. Of course, that's the secret of manifestation. Okay, so today's topic, as I said, goes by sharing is caring. And caring does not require one to be religious. You don't have to be a religious person or belong to one particular religion to be caring. And caring, but if you become caring, caring does make you spiritual. You might not be a spiritually inclined person. Neither you could be a moderate person in respect of your particular, discipline of religion that you follow. But if you're very caring, that automatically turns you into a spiritual person. Like you go and listen to the needs of people, you care for elderly people, you visit hospitals or you visit those places who needs your time and energy. So all that is caring. And caring is so beautiful that it does not require you to be wealthy. You don't have to be wealthy to become caring. Because many a times people come back to say, I wish I had the money to be caring. I wish I had the money to share. I wish I had this wealth with me to give it on charity. Trust me, the work that we are doing in Maitri Mission started without any experience as a social worker. And it also started, of course, to be honest, without much funds, without any donors. So all that good work, whatever, it might be very small, but all that work comes, today it's happening by God's grace, is just out of that quality, the temperament of caring and the temperament of sharing what bit we have. So that definitely goes a long way. Caring naturally means sharing, and sharing naturally takes you towards caring. As we grow up and navigate our life, we often tend to forget the lessons that we learned as kids in our schools, with our parents. When we learned sharing is very important. Share your tiffin, share your books, or share your whatever you had. So sharing comes from our childhood. But we are so busy navigating our life that we tend to forget what we learned from our childhood. And what happens is that we are often so focused on difficulties of life that we forget to look around, that who needs that caring eyes, who needs that caring one hug Who needs that caring time? So that caring and sharing somewhere becomes very, you know, outward. It's just a bodily activity. Now, there's a beautiful story of kindness, of sharing and caring that I'm going to narrate to you. So it so happened that the story, at one time in a very big city, a young professional, a very busy and young professional with challenging job, he returned home. So he had very long day, he was very hungry and tired, and while he was coming back home, what happened? He stood by a fruit vendor, a vegetable vendor and a fruit vendor, a very elderly lady of late 80s. Very feeble, wrinkled skin, very elderly lady, very poor lady. Obviously, standing out, throughout all the weathers, all the seasons, she's selling her fruits and vegetables in her cart. So this young man, the young professional, goes to her and says, "Grandma, I need to buy some, apples, or I need to buy some oranges." So he goes and gets some fruits and for his dinner, and he gets back home. And he chops the fruits, he eats the fruits, he gets some food from outside, he's happy about what he had, his tummy is full, he goes to bed, and suddenly all that thought is around him. And the thought, he's filled with that thought which says, "See, I have the money. I ordered some food and I got and I ate. I had the money to buy some fruits and I came home and I ate. What about that old grandma? Where will she go? She's such an elderly person. Maybe she has no one else to take care of her." So he is riddled with many questions. And the next day, again, he comes back from work with the same thoughts around. He gets back and then he looks at this frail old grandmother selling vegetables. So he looks at her and he says, "Grandma, today your fruits seems to be very fresh and very colorful. So I would like to buy this, 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 this." So the grandma is giving him the fruits and he says, "Grandma, they are nice, but I have a complaint. And my complaint is, yesterday I got some fruits from you. They didn't taste well. They were sour, bitter, slightly bitter, and one of them was very tight, not properly ripened. So I got, if you give me some time, I can go home and quickly get the fruits back to you so that you can check them for yourself." The old woman says, "Yes, son, please go and get it back." So he runs to his apartment, gets the fruits back, and he says, "Why don't you bite it and see?" The grandma says, "No need to bite. I know they are very fresh. I know they are very tasty." He says, "No, grandma, you bite and taste it for yourself." So the grandma bites. He says, "No, you tasted the apple. You better taste the banana also. Now you taste the fruits, the other fruit also." So she goes on tasting one fruit from each variety that she sold. And she looks at him and she says, "Son, they're honestly very delicious. They're perfectly ripened. And it's fit for you to eat. And it's safe for you to take it home." The son says, the young professional, he takes the rest of the fruits, gets back home, has his fill, eats his fruit. And then the day after that, again he goes to the grandma and he returns the same fruits, saying that, "Grandma, I'm sorry, today's fruits are again, this particular varieties that I bought from you, they're not tasty. Please eat for yourself and see." And then the old woman again takes a bite, again says, "No, son, they're very nice." No, grandma, this wasn't good, that wasn't good." So it goes for weeks together. And what happens is, the next door, another vendor who is just sitting next to the old grandma, he looks at the entire episode for days and weeks together, and he says, "Why are you entertaining this person? Why do you want to entertain this guy? Every day he's getting you fruits back, and every day he's complaining about it." She just smiles and keeps quiet. And here, the background of the story, the narrator of the story tells us why this man does so. This man feels so sad for the old grandma, and he feels that I need an excuse to make her eat some fruits because she needs nourishment. So, it'll be nice if I give her the fruits back, she might not take it. That might hurt her self-respect. So, with some pretext, some excuse, let me feed her the fruits. So, this is what the background of the story teller is telling us. Now, then again, the next day, it's happening, and it goes for months. Now, the old lady tries to stop him so much. Then again, the vendor gets irritated by the whole thing, and he says, why are you entertaining this silly fellow? Every day he needs something to talk to you, and every day he brings the fruits back to you. And I'm also a vegetable vendor. I won't entertain such crazy guys around me. And that's when the grandmother says that you didn't understand what was happening between both of us. This young boy, who's like my grandson, he gets all these fruits back to me because he thinks that I need nourishment and I'm weak. So he is so caring that he wants me to eat fruits. So he gives those fruits, one on each variety that I give him, for me to take a bite. And once I bite, obviously I cannot give him back. So I end up eating. So thereby he is showing, he is caring. And what I do is that when I take that fruit from him, I share from my basket what I have. When he's looking here and there, when he's busy paying me money, I quietly slip a few extra fruits into his basket, into his bag, because I know that he's going to bring that back to me tomorrow. So both ended up doing the same routine of caring, sharing, and caring. So that's a beautiful way of exchange of energy between the two. So how it started now, tell me. This gentleman, this young professional, with all his busy schedule, had the time to think about the old grandma. He had that compassionate heart, empathy, not sympathy. He entertained sympathy. Had he been sympathetic, he would have just given her some money and walked. But he was empathetic. So what happened? He wanted her to be healthy, so he did it with utmost respect. And on the other hand, the grandma also felt it, and she shared. Being poor, she shared what she had. So it's a circle, a beautiful circle of exchange of energy. Same as the story of Mother Sabari from Ramayana, when she tasted each and every berries feeding Ram. Before feeding Lord Rama, she took every berry and she bit it to see if it tastes well. After that, if it was tasting sweet and good, only then she fed Lord Rama. So that's how unconditional love grows in the small, kind act of sharing and caring for each other. I'm telling this again, I'm repeating that you don't have to be rich to be caring. You don't have to be rich to be sharing. You don't have to be religious to be sharing or caring. Caring and sharing definitely makes you a spiritual person. That's why as kids, we were trained by our parents and gurus and elders to care and share for each other. Any which ways you can be caring. By any visit to any place, by taking care of any situation, or just by standing by them during the difficult time, just by being patient listener, or just by speaking few words of wisdom and encouraging, motivating few words, whichever way you can be caring towards other person, definitely you do not make this excuse of not having enough money to be caring. God cares for all the creations, but God doesn't come in his magnificent personality because God is formless. So God can take many rupas, many avatars. So who said that you are not an avatar? If you become that caring and sharing person, you grow beyond the limitations that we have put already in our minds. Each one of us can prove that we are born as avatars, as incarnations of God on earth, to be caring. So God created you and me, God created all of us to be caring and sharing towards each other. He makes us the messengers to care for others. But the sad thing is that the busy life that we are involved, that makes us forget the very purpose of this life. And we forget to thank God for what all we have. So where is the time for us to take care for others? We should always remember to give our gratitudes to God. Right in the morning when we get up, just before going to sleep in the bed, for thank you God, thank you Father, Mother God, thank you Almighty for all that you experienced, good and bad, both. So then this conscious awareness will always be there that Almighty, the Creator, God, loves all of us equally. There's no partiality from His side. He loves all of us equally. And He's there always for us during our special days and tough days. Because we all go through both the special days and tough days. But the special days we forget, the tough days we remember. So it is more important for us to remember God is there during our tough days. And He is there in some form or the other to support us, to hold our hands, and to help us cross over that tough period. However, when we look back through the hard times, we often see God's hand solving our problems if we are aware of it. If we are able to move out of self-pity, if we are able to move out of that ego of I struggled, I worked very hard, I did all this. So the moment we are able to walk out of that ego, the moment we are able to walk out of the self-pity, then we realize that God was there, is there. Especially He stood by us during all our challenges and all our tough times, solving all our problems through the tough situations. Maybe then we didn't realize, and maybe now we are realizing, but there are some souls who are engulfed in Maya or ignorance, who might not be aware even at the moment, at the present moment. So the Creator keeps guiding us, whom to go, whom to contact, how to help. Suddenly somebody walks into our life, and that situation or person walks in our life to ease our pain, to help us. By caring and sharing, what happens? By caring and sharing, or by sharing and caring, we develop our inner strength. Because we determine to be kind. We determine to be helpful. We determine to share whatever we have. Thereby, that invisible power which is hidden inside us, of that inner strength, that suddenly opens up, blossoms like lotus. So one needs a lot of courage to go ahead and to be caring and sharing their time or energy with others. Regarding this, there is yet another story. Yeah, your storyteller is back. So there is yet another story, the footprint of God. So one beautiful night, a devotee, a disciple, after worshipping God, went to his beautiful cozy room, cozy bed, and had a good sleep. And it was cold midnight, winter sessions, and he was into his warm quilt, and he had very good sleep. And in his deep sleep, there was a stunning dream that he experienced. And in that, he saw that, he was walking on the sand on a beautiful beach. So the beautiful beach, he was walking, accompanying God. And while he was walking along the seashore, the scenes of different incidents of his life flashed. Different situations flashed. And one by one, everything crossed his path upon the sky, on the dark sky, and he kept moving, watching his own life's episodes as if he was watching a movie of good times and bad times both. And after the last scene, at the present he was, until then, everything flashed before him. And he looked back and noticed the footprints on the sand. And he noticed, for each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints. He noticed two sets of footprints. And one belonged to him, the other belonged to God. One, he was walking, the other footprint was his Lord, who was walking along with him. And all of a sudden, he noticed that in certain areas, there was only one set of footprint. No, there wasn't two sets of footprint. So he closely monitored, what was that? Where was that? When it happened that only one pair of footprint I see. And he closely examined to see that there was only one footprint, one set of footprint, when he suffered terrible blows in his life, when he was going through very tough times. And whenever there was deep challenges he was going through, that was the time he realized that there was only one set of footprint. And that really disturbed him. He was heartbroken. He was so upset. And he asked God. He said, God, you said to me once long ago when I prayed to you, and when I decided to follow you, follow your path, follow your teaching, and I prayed to you, you said, my son, my child, as you walk, I walk besides you. I walk along with you all the way. I trusted you and I kept walking. And I just kept walking. But I noticed that during the saddest moments of my life, during the troublesome periods of my life, there was only one set of footprint. I don't understand why. When I needed you the most, my dear God, you were not with me. You left me alone. That really saddens me so much. God laughed and he whispered very softly. He said, my precious child, I love you and I will never leave you. I've never left you. When you were fine and healthy, I used to walk besides you. I used to walk along with you. And that was the extra pair of footprint that you're watching on the sand. And whenever you saw only one pair of footprint, it was then you were going through the most troublesome, most saddest moments of your life. During that time, I carried you, my precious child. I carried you and walked through your tough challenges. Whenever you were in your difficult problems and difficult situations, I was protecting you by holding you. So you were not walking. It was me who was walking. How beautiful is the story. That's what has happened, is happening, and will happen with all of us. So when we share our time with God, then God will care for us. That doesn't mean that God needs our time, but we are sharing our thoughts, our energy, our belief, our faith, our decisions, everything we share with the Creator. And definitely in return, we always are taken care by Him. And see, if you know a prayer, now you might say, I don't have much to share. What do I have to share? That's why I said while starting to speak to you all that we didn't have anything to share to start up what we are doing today. So many hundreds of children, by God's grace, have benefited, educated, and moved beyond. A lot of good work has gone through. There's no point talking about all those things because we believe in, the seva with least spoken language, least spoken words. When questions are being put, what do I have to share? So sharing is whatever you know. You know a prayer? Share that. You know some medicine that works wonder for someone? Share that. You know some nice recipe? Share that. You know something to motivate someone? Share that. Whatever, I'm sure you have so many ideas. So don't be selfish and cling on to those ideas. Share. The entire organization, whatever little bit work that we are doing, all God's grace is magic, I should say. It all started just by sharing. All I could do 30 years ago, visiting different leprosy slums, all I could do is share my time. Now that time, what would I do? They don't want advices from us. They have many people to give them advice. So all I could do, because I didn't have enough money to support them or to buy them or to install faith in them that I will stand by you. So the one thing that I knew was singing. The one thing I knew was to play harmonium. The one thing at that time I was learning was playing sitar, playing veena. So that helped me go and sit with them and sing bhajan. So I was sharing those little, bhajans that I knew, and I was sharing the bhajan, my time with them, not realizing that they will have faith in me, not realizing that we will one day we will have schools for them, we will have clinics for them, we will see to, we will help these girls get married, and we will help their medical areas, etc., etc. But what I'm saying is sharing. So it was just sharing the time, singing bhajans with them. So for me, those bhajans were not just harmonium, just singing, just vocal. For me, that was real invocation of God. Singing that real invocation of God. Oh, Holy Lord, you are there. Oh Krishna, oh Rama, oh Shiva. Oh beloved Father, Mother God, you are there. While I'm singing, I'm invoking you through my voice. And I see you reverberating here. And you do the magic. So that helped them, like medicine. That helped them have faith in me. There is yet another story to add on this, that Yudhishthira once performed a big yagya. And in that big yagya, everybody was invited. A lot of people were invited. And they were all in great joy and gaiety celebrating the yagya. And just then a small little mongoose goes, and the mongoose looks at the yagya and goes on rolling and rolling and rolling. And the mongoose laughs and says, "What big yagya are you talking about? What is so great about this yagya?" So those who are attending, the great kings of other nations who have come there, and other ministers are so upset at the mongoose, and they hold mongoose and say, what rubbish are you talking? Do you realize what you're talking? So the mongoose says, I know what I'm talking. Years and years ago, there was a great famine that hit this country. And then I was still a mongoose. And I went around to see, and I found a poor family. And in that poor family, when I went, a passerby Brahmana came and he said, I'm hungry. So the man of the house gave his food. Then the woman of the house gave the food. Then the children of the family gave their food. And they starved, but they fed others. They starved, they fed others. It went on for days together. Ultimately, they couldn't survive the famine. But when all the Brahmanas ate and who survived with the gyan, with the knowledge, with the wisdom that they were supposed to share and multiply, when they all left, I walked in, I sympathized, I felt very bad, and I went in, I walked in, and I saw little grains of food left over here and there, which was served by this poor family to those rishis and the brahmanas. And I felt so emotional about it. I was so filled with gratitude about it, and remorseful also, because of this famine so many people perished. I could do nothing but rolled on the grains of the rice which was left over. When I rolled on, half of my body that I rolled upon the rice became goldenish color. And since then, I'm waiting for selfless yagya, selfless sacrifice to happen anywhere, and I roll on that to check if that was any way equal to what had happened years before. So I came all the way from there to Kurukshetra to attend to this great yagya that everybody is talking to be the great sacrifice, that I roll upon it and I see if my rest of the body can also become golden. But alas, this is not what I am looking for. So this is just a pomp and show. This is just formality. So, and he says, though the ministers and those who were attending the yagya were upset with the little mongoose, but the mongoose had his own reason of saying what he felt. So from the mongoose perspective, the golden energy, the golden half of his body was because of the consequence of rolling itself on the energy of selfless sharing and caring. Whereas from mongoose perspective, the great king Yudhishthira's sharing and caring was there in that yagya, but it wasn't as great as what? Because being a king, he was capable of giving. But being a poor old farmer, he was not capable of giving, yet he gave. So I'm not saying that you give everything and you perish, but sharing and caring is something within which should arise and awaken the personality to be the most beautiful, special, spiritual person. So ponder on what I said, and next time when we meet, I see you with good answers on sharing and caring as all your life's episodes, and how you spent your time on giving care and how you shared and what was the outcome. Everything you can share with me when you meet me, or you can write and you can put it in your comment box, and there I will be with you answering you back. God bless. Bye-bye for now. Hari Om, and see you soon.